By the way, Joan, I don't know if you had this in your story or not, but apparently the best time to see the Northern Lights here in Middle Tennessee.
Okay.
6P to 6A with the tonight, 6P, 6A.
Mm-hmm.
So Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Prime is 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the pro tip there is use your phone's camera, but make sure you've got long exposure on your settings, somewhere between, I'd say 10 to 20 seconds. That way the lens has enough time to pull all the light in.
Okay. So I'm not much of a camera person, but the pictures that we're getting into the Super Text line, holy mackerel, folks. Thank you very much for sending them. And what time was it best seen last night? Because
Probably, I'm assuming the same time frame.
Huh. All right. I got to look up. I didn't see anything. Joe, you didn't see anything coming in?
I didn't, but I could also be accused of. Now, when I'm driving from my home, like the initial part of the trip is in the dark. There's no street lights. On the highway, there's none of that.
There's no people.
There's no people.
Right.
So it could be like the best time to see it, and I didn't see it. So, but then when you get up into the Nashville area, of course, you've got a lot of street lights and a lot of, the cars, ambient lighting. It'll be a little more difficult.
That was a Journey reference that no one caught. Street lights, people.
Street light people, don't stop believing. All right. Thanks, Sam, for your input on that. So we wrapped up the last hour with she describes herself as a black lesbian, right? Tish Hyman. And she is, if you missed the viral video, standing in the middle of this gym in Northern California screaming about a trans guy. I guess you call it a trans woman, but it's basically a guy pretending to be a woman in a woman's locker room, walking around, and he's just letting it all hang out in the women's locker room in this gym.
Have you seen the pictures of this fella?
No, I have not.
Definitely fella. Literally just 5 o'clock shadow and lipstick.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. It's like they don't even try. Like, I'm going to grow. This is the weird thing that we've seen. I mean, there's a lot weird to this whole thing. But it's like they just think that they're just going to slap on some lipstick and they can walk around a women's locker room and they've got a full-on beard and they're just, I mean, there's different levels of pretending, I guess, but some of these guys don't even try.
I know, and it's funny because isn't the old saying, lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig?
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the other thing about that guy. Name, I guess, Alexis Black, I think, is that he's...
That's a fake name, Alexis Black.
Yes.
Tom.
The fake name, Alexis Black. Well, it turns out when dude was still a dude, he actually spent a year in jail for breaking his wife's jaw. So, I mean, this is...
Oh,
yeah.
And isn't the name he's using, Joan, her name? His ex-wife's? Is that...
Is that right?
I
don't know.
Something about him is copying her style or something.
I have not gone that far, that deep into this story. But I love this because she shows up. So the black lesbian shows up at an event for this state senator, Scott Weiner, who is running for Nancy Pelosi's seat as she is getting ready to retire. So who shows up? But old Tish Hyman. Now, I want to play you what she has to say, and luckily she doesn't curse. But she really triggered a lot of the Democrats there because she said that this guy is not a guy. And she gets booed for that. So in other words, you're going to hear this. Just listen for this. She gets up. She says that this, trans woman is a man. He's not a woman. And she gets mercilessly booed. Nobody seems to care in this, San Francisco town hall. Shocking. Nobody seems to care that dudes letting it all hang out doesn't seem to care. Parading around a women's locker room. This is what she said. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, here it is.
I have millions of people behind me watching this right now, and we want to know, are you going to protect women? Not trans women, women. Trans women are different things. Women. Listen, we need...
You see how people are like, oh, no.
Oh, I just want to smack those people.
Men can be women. I think based on the fact that you women, Joan, give birth, it's almost like these dudes who want to pretend that they're women, a little bit of stolen valor there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Women, trans women are different things. Women. Listen, we need to protect women's safety. I was assaulted. Women are women. I was assaulted. No, they are not. They are men. I was assaulted by men.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? She's like, this is a man. It's a man. And nobody.
It's a man, Mandis.
It's not that hard, man. All you got to do is see what's parading around the locker room.
He broke his wife's jaw so bad she needed reconstructive surgery. I'm a lesbian. I'm not transphobic, and I'm black. So if there's another black woman in here who wants to tell me how they feel, please join in. But all of you are not. And I don't know who you are, what you are, but I'm a lesbian, and I'm telling you right now, men are harassing women in the locker room. I want to.
Now, and the thing is, here, and if you're watching on Super Talk TV, I'm looking at this video, Joan. All these people that are booing this black lesbian, there's not one black person in there.
And she is like one of the things that the left wants to fight for, right? She is a gay black woman from the Bronx of New York.
She checks all the same boxes that KGB checked, right?
Mm-hmm.
They respected KGB. Karine Jean-Pierre.
KJP.
KJP.
I was about to say.
I'm like, what
I'm sorry. Wow.
When did KGB turn out to be a black lesbian?
Threw me for a loop.
All that time here, and you didn't even know that.
No wonder he left.
KJP, Karine Jean-Pierre, checked all the same boxes that this woman did, and they're disrespecting her like crazy.
Somebody said on the super text line, I thought it was interesting, saying that the lesbians will change the Democrat movement because they're coming out, and I think that's what he said. But, I mean, when you think about it, if this, and it should go as viral as I think that it just may, it is really going to, as Matt Van Epp said, the distinction between these two parties, the distinction between, Republicans and Democrats could not be more clear. And so that's why, with the criticisms that I've had of the Republican Party over the last couple of days, and, they seem to be happening a lot, it still doesn't compare to how bad the Democrats are. I mean, I can be angry with Donald Trump about this train wreck of an interview with Laura Ingraham. I can be frustrated with that, but still understand that Donald Trump has had a lot of wins. He has had a lot of wins. And I believe that his heart and his mind is in the right place. I think he's gone a little askew. I think the president is he's not focused on the right things. I do believe that he is a little more focused on the world and not as focused on America. And I'm going to get into some of this coming up. But still, between that and the hemp ban that the Senate and the House is going to vote on as well, these are big mistakes by the Republicans. But it still does not compare to the lunacy on the left. So you've always got to, on the one hand, if you're a conservative like me, and you're criticizing the Republican Party, you do so while still acknowledging that we're still not as insane as the other side. So if you think that I'm somehow turning left, you're out of your flippin' mind. And I still think that the difference between Republicans and conservatives, I should say Republicans and Democrats these days, or conservatives and the progressives, I mean, it is just a mile wide. I don't know, is there anything that Republicans or conservatives have in common with Democrats these days, the progressive Democrats? I don't think that there is. I don't think there's any overlap whatsoever. So there used to be some common truths in America. And Joan, you remember this. I mean, didn't we all at one point, whether or not you were I'm just going to use the generic terms, right? A Republican versus a Democrat. Mm-hmm. So Republicans and Democrats used to be, we could all agree that we had to have some semblance of border protection, right?
Yes.
Now, that is completely false. Republicans and conservatives still want border protection, but the Democrats, the progressives, they want a wide open border. So there used to be some crossover where we all could agree on at least some semblance of border protection. That is now a thing of the past. It used to be that Republicans and Democrats could, at the very least, agree that crime was bad and committing crimes was bad, and that the perpetrators of such crimes should, at the very least, be charged and perhaps go to jail after their day in court. Now you have the Democrats that don't even believe that criminals who are committing crimes should even face charges. So there was a time when we all could agree on some certain semblance of just basic truth and understanding of what life was supposed to be like here in America. And now the gap between us is so incredibly wide. I mean, I don't even know if is there such a thing anymore as a moderate Democrat? I don't think so. And it seems to me like the moderate Democrats, if there are any, you would think that they would be calling out the extremes of their party, but the extreme of their party right now is the norm of their party. The extreme of their party, the AOCs and the Jasmine Crockett's and those kind of people, they are being hailed as heroes of their party. And look how extreme they are. And so there is no moderate. I know that during the shutdown, you had people like John Fetterman and other Democrats who came over to the Republican side to stop the shutdown. That's all fine, well, and good. But, I mean, look how long it took them. I mean, I guess the only real moderate out there, and I'm probably missing one or two, but, I mean, the most famously moderate Democrat right now is John Fetterman. I don't know if there is another moderate Democrat out there, and they want to primary him. So I don't think that, given the fact that there used to be some basic truths and some basic understandings, just the basic what is a man and what is a woman. The basic truth of look down. What are you? The Democrats don't even have that right. I mean, so the Democrats have taken like universal basic truths and just thrown them out the window. And so you can't tell me that there is any such thing outside of John Fetterman, that there is any such thing as a moderate Democrat. And the ones that are being hailed as heroes these days are the ones that subscribe to this notion that men can be anything that they want and parade around a woman's locker room. Sam was telling me this dude from San Francisco, Joan, he just started taking his hormones.
February 12th of 2025.
In February.
Oh my gosh.
And when the Daily Mail, I guess, got in contact with this guy about the encounter with Hyman and the banning of Hyman from Gold's Gym, it won't stop her from using the restroom and changing rooms she feels most aligned with. I refuse to go in there, Black said of the men's locker room. I have breasts. All my bras are from Victoria's Secret. It doesn't seem like a genuine question to ask someone with breasts to go into the men's room.
Hold on. I have breasts. Can I go in the women's room?
But Dan, did you buy your bras from Victoria's Secret? That's what makes you a woman.
That's none of your business.
That's the most insane thing. He buys his bras from Victoria's Secret and boom, he's a woman?
So now, number one, it proves that he's a woman. Number two, it proves that he's overpaying for bras.
And he's a personal trainer. So when he jacked his ex-wife's jaw, he knew the strength he was working with. I spent 30 years building a different body. It's been 8 months since I took my first dose of estrogen. It didn't happen in one day. Black added that puberty for all women doesn't happen overnight. It's a costume.
I assume this is like some sort of Christmas music? Apparently so. Mistletoe.
The Christmas by Harry Connick Jr.
Ah, very good. All right.
I like that one.
Have I mentioned how much I hate Christmas music?
You know, a certain news person tried to warn me about that yesterday, and I just...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it Weaves or was it Joan? It wouldn't be Joan because Joan. Well, it's Joan. We've been together long enough. Do you know I hate Christmas music?
No, I didn't know that.
She tried to act like she didn't.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Christmas music, but whatever. Knock yourself out. But it's not even Thanksgiving yet. So my official direction as the host of the show, ixnay on the Christmas music. Otherwise, my inner bah humbug is really going to come out. Speaking of which, Donald Trump, by the way, we could do a super texters. Do you really want Sam to start playing Christmas music several weeks now before Thanksgiving? Is that what we've come to now? So I'll leave it up to the super texters. And Joan, you let me know what they say. Do we really want to start playing Christmas bumper music?
I can tell you that one super texter, Chris, says that when you get annoyed, that's when you're at your best.
Stoke the flames of passion.
Playing,
like
Sam.
yesterday when you two, I don't want to do this, but I have to. Yesterday when you two told me that I had a red nose, and I had a consistently red nose, not just when I was suffering from allergies, I went home and I asked every person I know, do I have a red nose? I was not happy.
Dan, you're so easy. You're so easy.
Like Sunday morning.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along. This is Donald Trump. Now, the president, I feel like the president has lost his way, and it makes me sad. And MAGA is definitely responding to this interview that he gave with Laura Ingraham. She pushed back. And so one of the things, and yesterday we spoke about the president talking about how we needed 600,000 Chinese students coming into our country, which is absolute BS. I forget exactly what else we talked about yesterday. But in this two-parter, Donald Trump also talked about the H-1B visa. I'll call it a scandal. I'm not going to call it a controversy. I will call it a scandal. Because y'all know, and we've been talking about this for quite some time now, you've got American businesses who are firing American workers, and they're replacing them with H-1B visa types from places like India, perhaps China as well. And so this came up yesterday because I think that there is, you take this one story, H-1B visa, and how our government is facilitating the loss of employment for millions of Americans over the years. And you would think that as the leader of the MAGA movement, Make America Great Again, that Trump would be all about it, would be all about focusing on eliminating all those loopholes in the H-1B visa program that is leading to Americans losing their jobs. This came up yesterday during the Laura Ingraham interview with Donald Trump.
Republicans have to talk about it. Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we
a
have
country
plenty of talented people
no, you
here.
Don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn.
That's rough. To hear the president say, no, you don't have people with talent here. Now, if I was going to defend the president on those comments, clearly what he means is that there are people from certain, if I'm going to interpret what he is saying, there's people that have certain talents that we don't have them in this country, but they come from India. But see, I can defeat that argument immediately because the people that are coming into our country through this H-1B visa program, they are replacing workers that had the talent. They had the talent. They're being replaced by people from other countries who either also have the talent or don't have quite the talent as the Americans, but what they do have going for them is they're willing to work cheap. That's a problem. Do you know people are actually, when they heard this comment from the president, they're actually saying that this is a hurtful comment, that he would say this about the American workers.
Well, we have plenty of talented people
no,
here.
you don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
All right, so that is Donald Trump, and a lot of people taking umbrage with what the president said. And there's a number of different ways to look at this. You do have these areas, you do have these, meatpacking plants, this kind of a thing, or these plants where they make batteries and what happened in Georgia, where you bring in people from other countries, but you also have people that work in tech and in like these STEM industries who are also losing their jobs because of the loopholes in the H-1B visa program. So there's a number of different layers to this. And so for me, my biggest issue when I talk about what's going on with the visa program is the American people who are graduating from college and they're getting terminated or they're not getting hired because these companies are utilizing the visa programs to bring in people from India and other countries to replace them. And so they're coming out of our colleges and they're either being replaced by AI or they're being replaced by some person from India. J.D. Vance, I would recommend to Donald Trump, speak to your vice president. He seemed to take this very seriously. So we can utilize the visa programs to make sure that all of the various plants, if we need people to work in those plants, we can bring in people legally through the visa program. But we also need to be cognizant of the fact that these companies are using these loopholes to fire Americans. And by the way, there are people who work in other countries that have a tremendous amount of expertise. You know, somebody like Elon Musk, somebody like that. But by and large, the numbers that I'm seeing, the thousands of Americans over the years, and this has been going on for a long time. I mean, this isn't Republican or Democrat. This is a government problem. We need to protect American workers. We need to do what we can for American workers. And these American workers do have talent. So the truth is somewhere in the middle. I mean, do we need all of the various plants around the country to be manned so that we can be able to make the things that we need to make? Yeah. So if we need to utilize immigrants or whatever through visa programs and do that legally where they're not taking away or legally, but they're utilizing loopholes and they're not hiring Americans, that's one part of the conversation. The other part of the conversation is the STEM industries, where you talk about science and technology and science, technology, engineering, and I think math is the last one, I think. So our young adults are graduating and they are literally unemployable and they're racked with thousands and thousands of dollars in debt with no hope of paying it off because they can't find a job because the dude from India is willing to work 30% less. That's a problem, and that's why people are reacting to what Donald Trump said. What was that stat? We had a stat yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before, where they're talking about college-educated students in STEM technologies, and there's a great percentage of them that are not and cannot find jobs in their fields. And it has gotten worse. Oh, just over the last 12 to 24 months, that number has gotten a lot worse. And I got to tell you, and this is why I feel like And the story has been out there where younger Americans are turning away from the Republican Party, especially over the last 12 months. What have I been saying about Mamdani and what happened in New York? This is a wake-up call. And I know what I said, and it is true. New York and New Jersey and all these states, Virginia, they are left-leaning states. I understand that. But there's still a lesson to be learned in the numbers. And if we are seeing polling, and regardless as to whether or not you believe the polls or not, there's been enough out there that show that young adults, specifically young males, are no longer excited about conservatives or the Republicans. Now, why is that? Well, number one is what I've been talking about. It's because they can't find a job and their jobs are being, sent overseas, or we're importing people to replace them. That's number one, through the visa programs. Number two, they can't afford to buy a house. So you have that aspect of it as well. There's a lot of things. And now the Republicans are trying to ban CBDs, which is also going to be a big issue for young adults. And also, by the way, farmers as well. I was talking about that earlier. So, it's becoming frustrating because everywhere I look, there's like alarm bells going off in my head, right? Alarm bells are going off. The president, as much as I support him, he has said a couple of times now that his focus is on the world stage, not on the national stage, not on America. And I do understand, and I explained to you the context. Donald Trump says, I've got to keep an eye on what is going on across the world so that America doesn't get dragged into something that we may end up getting dragged into. I understand that, and I appreciate it. But he's bragging about, and it is something to brag about. It is something to brag about, where he's ended 8 wars or conflicts. I get that. I appreciate it very much. Please, Mr. President, do everything you can to focus on making life better for the American people, young adults, farmers, everyone. You have to turn your focus inward. Keep a half an eye on the world. Right now, the Republican Party, in my opinion, is on fire. And if they're not worried about what's going on, then they've got their head in the sand. They need to figure out how to make things more affordable here in our country. There are still things to be done. I understand some things are more expensive. Some things are not as expensive. There is no doubt that our economy right now, things are more affordable than when Joe Biden was in office. I get that. And it's all a matter of context, and I've been talking about that for months now. Look at what Biden brought us. Look what Donald Trump has brought us. Trump has so many victories, but the reality is that we do still have an affordability problem in this country. And whether it is perceived or whether it is real, I believe that it is real. I don't believe that right now the economy is as good as it could be or that it should be. And Trump said when he came into office, one of the things Trump said, it's going to be better on day one. Okay, that's all fine, well, and good. But please just remember, Republicans, there's a lot of voters right now in Tennessee and across the country who are disengaged, who voted for Donald Trump, who voted for the Republicans last time around. And they can't afford the groceries. They can't afford to buy a house. They can't find a job. And we can't keep blaming Biden. We now have to come up with some solutions. Because I don't want to be sitting here after the midterm elections and asking the questions, gee, what happened? If we end up getting our tails handed to us in the midterm elections, I'm not going to be the guy that's sitting around thinking or asking, gee, what happened? Because we're seeing the alarm bells right now. We're seeing the flags, the red flags right now, and we've got roughly a year to fix it.